I'm Casey Reed, 32, standing in my new Albuquerque apartment. Pregnant, proud, terrified to host the housewarming I'd dreamed about. Friends crowded the balcony, laughter tangled with clinking glasses. Then my sister Sheila took the microphone. "I've spoken to a lawyer," she said. "I'm the owner now. She's no longer welcome here." Her finger found me like a trigger pulled. Every face turned, waiting for me to break. Derek, my husband, sipped wine and watched the floor. My best friend squeezed my hand under the table. The room went weightless. I counted my pulse. 3, 2, 1. Have you ever faced something like this? Tell me in the comments. I reached for my purse, steady, and pulled out my answer. They thought I'd crumble. They had no idea what I brought. 6 months before that night, life looked perfect. Derek and I had just signed papers for our first apartment in Albuquerque. 3 bedrooms, sunlight through wide windows, a balcony for morning coffee. It felt like the dream we'd been chasing for years. A place to start our family with a baby on the way. I imagined yellow nursery walls, a white crib under the window. Derek smiled back then, or maybe I imagined it. His eyes softened when he said, "We're finally home." But as weeks passed, he changed. Late nights, buzzing phone, quick smiles that never reached his eyes. "Just work," he'd shrug. I wanted to believe him. I was hormonal, emotional, trying not to nag. Then Sheila started texting out of nowhere. 2 years older, always certain she knew better. "Did you pay the mortgage yet?" she'd ask. "Are you sure you can afford that place?" Each question stabbed deeper. I told myself she was just being Sheila, controlling, nosy. But then I came home one afternoon and found her there, in my living room, holding a measuring tape like she owned it. "These curtains won't do," she said. "You need something classier." I froze. "How did you even get in?" "Derek gave me a key," she said casually. "He said you wouldn't mind." My chest tightened. That night, I asked Derek why. He didn't look up from his phone. "She's family, Casey. Stop overreacting." Overreacting. The word burned. I lay awake later, hand on my belly, staring at the ceiling. The woman who raised me and the man I married were blurring into one. Every question, every late-night whisper, every text I wasn't supposed to see, it all started feeling connected. Like the walls of my home were listening. Like my happiness was being measured and taken apart. Sometimes betrayal doesn't crash in. It quietly rearranges your furniture first. They called me quiet, but quiet taught me how to roar. After that day, I watched everything more closely. Every word, every glance, every rearranged object in my home. Sheila's perfume lingered, bright and floral, like a claim. Derek's phone buzzed late, a wasp trapped behind glass. I asked who kept texting. "Don't start, Casey, you need rest," he said. Rest couldn't calm the storm growing inside me. Monica noticed before anyone else. We met for coffee near my office. She studied my face and didn't blink. "Tell me," she said, gentle but unyielding. I told her everything. Derek's distance, Sheila's intrusions, my house feeling borrowed. Monica stirred her latte, thinking, "This isn't normal. She's acting like an owner." Owner lodged inside me and wouldn't move. That weekend, I found Sheila on my couch again. She sorted my mail like a clerk on payroll. "You should repaint," she said. "I know a contractor." My pulse thudded, slow and heavy. "Why are you here, Sheila?" She smiled like a realtor before closing. "Derek asked me to stop by. We're ensuring things are orderly." We lingered longer than her perfume. That night, I waited for Derek. "Why does Sheila have a key?" I asked. He loosened his tie, already annoyed. "She's family," he said. "She's helping." "By going through my mail?" He sighed. "You're overreacting again." The room tilted with that word. Overreacting had become his favorite leash. When he showered, I opened his laptop. I hated myself for it, but needed truth. An email thread glowed like a warning flare. Subject line, apartment docs. Sheila had written, "She doesn't need to know. We'll handle it." My stomach dropped through the floorboards. Handle what exactly? I took photos, my hands shaking. I started a folder on my phone that night. Texts, screenshots, dates, and times piled up. Every visit went into a secret journal. Each entry felt like sandbags against a flood. Quiet work steadied me more than sleep. Paula from marketing asked for lunch. Her message was clipped and careful. At the diner, she slid her phone over. A photo, Derek and Sheila leaning close, whispering. Her hand rested on his arm like a claim. Heat rose behind my eyes, but I listened. "I thought you should know," she said softly. I added the picture to my archive. "If you've been through this, you're not alone." Monica called that evening to check. "Keep collecting," she said. "Don't confront yet." Her faith steadied me better than sleep. I saved copies and hid them at Monica's. Another set lived in the cloud, double-locked. Safety meant planning like a mother. I was already a mother. By dawn, fear had edges I recognized. It wasn't madness. It was clarity, sharpening into courage. I wasn't breaking. I was building a case. For my home, for my child, for myself. Quiet was my cover. Proof was my voice. The roar was coming. The day of the housewarming arrived with a storm inside me. I'd prepared every detail, candles, appetizers, soft jazz by the balcony. But my hands shook as I set the table. The Albuquerque sky glowed gold, but the air felt wrong. Guests began arriving, smiling, unaware of what waited. Monica hovered near me, her eyes alert. She'd sensed the tension long before I admitted it. Even my cousin Ellen looked uneasy, glancing between me and Derek. He barely spoke, his phone a constant companion. By 8 o'clock, the apartment buzzed with conversation. String lights shimmered, laughter filled the air. And then, Sheila arrived. Late, loud, and wearing red like a warning flare. She swept in, greeting everyone like she owned the place. My pulse quickened. Her gaze skimmed the room, landing on the microphone. Halfway through the evening, she took it. "I have an announcement," she said. The chatter stopped instantly. Her tone sliced through the music, calm but cruel. "I've spoken with a lawyer," she continued. "As of today, I'm the rightful owner of this apartment." Gasps rippled through the crowd. My breath caught midair. She pointed at me, eyes glinting. "Casey doesn't belong here. She can't afford this place. It's time she leaves." Her words hit like glass shattering. Ellen froze, a glass halfway to her lips. Monica's hand gripped mine under the table. "Breathe," she whispered. But I couldn't. My lungs locked around disbelief. Derek stood in the corner, sipping wine. He didn't speak, didn't look at me. His silence screamed louder than Sheila's voice ever could. Every guest stared. Some whispered. Some just watched. I could feel judgment in their eyes, curiosity, pity, doubt. Sheila's smirk deepened. She looked radiant in her cruelty, feeding off the spectacle. I thought of her measuring my curtains, reading my bills, and Derek handing her a key without hesitation. It all made sense now. The emails, the secrecy, the whispers after midnight. My heart pounded so hard it drowned the room. But I didn't cry, not this time. Instead, I reached for my purse. Inside was a small black folder, thin, ordinary, but heavy with proof. Monica had helped me print everything, screenshots, texts, Sheila's forged claims. I stood up slowly. Every head turned. "Sheila," I said, voice steady, "you should have chosen a quieter lawyer. For a moment, her face faltered. Only a flicker, but enough. Derek's glass paused mid-air. He looked at me for the first time all night. That's when I knew I'd caught them off guard. If you've ever been humiliated in front of everyone, you know that silence is the perfect revenge weapon. I didn't shout, I didn't plead. I just smiled. They thought they owned my home. I was about to own their downfall. Top of form, bottom of form. A week after the housewarming, I stopped trembling. Shock had turned into something sharper. Anger with a spine. Sheila's voice still echoed in my head, but now it sounded small, like a mosquito trapped in glass. I spent that week at Monica's apartment. Her spare room smelled like lavender and safety. She made me tea, kept me grounded. "You have everything you need," she said. Now it's time to use it. So I did. Laura Martinez, a lawyer Monica recommended, met me downtown. Her office was small but fierce, law books stacked like ammunition. I laid everything out. Sheila's texts, Derek's emails, the photos Paula had given me, and the recording I'd made when Sheila confessed. Laura listened, eyes sharp, pen tapping. "This isn't meddling," she said. "It's fraud." The word hung between us like thunder. That night, I couldn't sleep. Pregnancy made every heartbeat louder. I stared at the ceiling, hand over my belly. "I'll protect you," I whispered to my unborn child. "You'll never grow up thinking betrayal is love." 2 days later, Sheila struck again. A Facebook post. "Casey abandoned Derek. She's unstable. She doesn't deserve that home." The comments flooded in, gossip, pity, strangers picking sides. It burned, but I didn't respond. Monica stopped me when I tried. "Let her dig her own hole," she said. "We'll bury her with facts." At work, Paula slipped me an envelope. Inside was an email Sheila had sent to a real estate company, claiming to be co-owner of my apartment. My signature forged. Her arrogance finally turned into evidence. I sent it straight to Laura. That evening, I asked Derek to meet me at the park. He came, hands in pockets, guilt already painted on his face. "Why, Derek?" I asked quietly. "Why her? Why my home?" He looked away. "It wasn't supposed to go this far," he muttered. "Sheila said we could sell it, split the money." My breath caught, but my voice stayed calm. "So you plan to take everything from me?" His silence was my answer. I pressed record in my pocket, capturing every word. When I walked away, the night air felt colder, but cleaner. By morning, Laura had everything. She filed charges: attempted property fraud, document forgery, privacy violation. Sheila and Derek had no idea what was coming. For the first time in months, I slept through the night. The baby kicked softly, as if approving. I whispered into the dark. "You and I, we fight smart, not loud. Sometimes revenge isn't rage. It's evidence, patience, and timing." They built their scheme on lies. I built my justice on truth. Top of form, bottom of form, the courtroom was quieter than I expected. Sunlight poured through tall windows, dust swirling like slow applause. I sat beside Laura, hands clasped, heart steady. Across the aisle, Sheila and Derek avoided my eyes. The judge's gavel struck once, sharp, final. Laura presented everything: the emails, recordings, forged documents, and Derek's confession. Each piece landed like a stone building a wall of truth. Sheila tried to speak, but her voice cracked under the weight of her own lies. Derek stayed silent, jaw tight, eyes on the floor. He'd been silent since the beginning, and that was his undoing. When the verdict came, it was clear. The apartment was mine. Solely, legally, undeniably mine. The judge called their actions deliberate and deceitful. Sheila's forged email triggered a criminal investigation. Derek was ordered to pay damages for privacy violation. Justice didn't roar, it whispered. but I heard it loud and clear. After court, I signed the divorce papers in Laura's office. My hand didn't shake. The ink felt like freedom. I walked out into the Albuquerque sunlight, the air bright, the world new. 2 months later, I gave birth to Ivy. Tiny fingers, strong heartbeat, a new beginning. Monica held my hand through every contraction. When Ivy cried for the first time, I smiled through tears. That sound wasn't pain, it was promise. We moved into a smaller apartment, sunlight streaming through the same kind of wide windows. Ivy's crib stood by the balcony, curtains swaying gently, safe from anyone's claim but ours. I didn't need Sheila. I didn't need Derek. I had proof, peace, and my daughter. And the family I chose, the one that stayed. Have you ever had to rebuild from nothing? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like mine. Family isn't blood. It's who shows up when the world walks out.